Hello and welcome back. So we just had the top four, the final match of the top four, and we're about to go into the final match.
And we are going to be watching, as we have mentioned earlier, Scott McPherson versus Michael Webb. If we have a quick look at the games that they went along to get here, Michael has been playing against Black Red Reanimator in the first round, so once again another combo deck. Going up to against Jack Jiggins, the deck which is meant to be his foil, but still running through that anyway. And on the other side, Scott has placed Agrolome in the first round, and then on against Check Pile that we just saw in the last game in camera a few moments ago.
Yep. So leaves us with Ad Nauseam Tendrils versus Turbo Depths. Unfortunately, I think for the viewing audience, not a super interactive matchup.
No, so as we said, it's going to be heavy discard, heavy surgical post-board, and just seeing who can fire it off first.
Yeah, it's going to be a race. It's a race to the finish. Look, we're here. We have two Grood pilots playing two solid decks, obviously playing them quite well, managed to get to the final of a top 8, of a 28 player tournament.
And you've got to respect them for being able to do that and
100%.
taking these decks this far.
100%. I mean, like, obviously the deck only gets you so far. There's still got to pilot it, still got to play it. Also, what's impressive is such a broad meta in the tournament today. So it's not like one deck had a good matchup, but there was every deck, which was really good to see. And also, it says a lot more for the players that have done well.
Absolutely. And just being able to take all different types of challenges. Yeah,
for sure. I think the players should be about ready to start their
final match,
which is obviously best of 3 untimed. Just waiting on that, I think. So we'll get word from the table judge once we're ready to cut to it. But anyways, until then, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Watching our stream. We really enjoy creating this content. We don't always get to go live. Sometimes we just make the content and then upload it later. Obviously the internet connection here not ideal to be streaming regularly, but that should be being remedied hopefully soon. But until then, please chuck us a follow on Twitch,
on YouTube.
We're at YouTube General Games. We upload Magic content, Star Wars. We also play another game called Star Wars Destiny, which I think some Magic players would enjoy. And yeah, we keep content up regularly, and we like to stream as often as we can.
To Diggle, the commentary booth is about 20 meters away.
Yeah, so we've when the store was set up originally, we put a lot of effort into the design and layout for this, knowing that we wanted to do commentary. So we're actually in an office at the back of the building, and the feature match is towards the front of the building, so quite far away.
Obviously, for future events, if we are streaming, we would love you to check in and watch us again, and we will try and get links out to everyone to let you know what's happening as well.
So just before we do start the commentary, we do stream Destiny. We do a lot more coverage for Destiny, so a lot of our YouTube channel is already a lot of content up there. We will be streaming it. We actually also have the Destiny. We have the regionals and we have the nationals event, which will be going live.
So we've got both players keeping their opening hand. Scott has kept double discard, Thoughtseize and Duress, a couple of different lands and a crop rotation, whereas Michael is about to show us exactly what he kept. But first he is going to brainstorm in response to hide a couple of the key cards in his hand.
Yep.
So leaning on an Underground Sea here.
Yep. So I think that might be about as deep as the interaction in these decks get. Hiding cards from a Duress rather. But we will see. I mean, look. So Scott's looking at another. He's got a Thoughtseize in hand. So is it interesting that he chooses to fire off the Duress before the Thoughtseize?
I don't think it's that relevant in this case. I think he might be trying to play the fact that the loss of life is a little relevant. Okay. And so by leading on the Duress, if there's not a second relevant card, then he doesn't need to cast it.
Yeah.
At the moment, we've got double Cabal Therapy, Lotus Petal, and Duress in Michael's hand, and I saw double Infernal Tutor got put on
Yes.
top, I believe.
Yes.
So he can empty his hand quite quickly, and his opponent's hand as well quite quickly with what he's got there. And so it's really just a question of he's trying to build up some mana so that he can do the Infernal Tutor into a big spell at the moment.
Of course. So looking at Scott's deck here, Turbo Depths, playing the 4 Elvish Spirit Guides, which I think not all the Turbo Depth lists play, at least not the ones I've seen.
No, it's not that common from what I understand, but it is just another form of
it's another
early
fast
ramp. So
fast
he's got Elvish Spirit Guide, 4 of, along with 4 Lotus Petals. He's got 4 Dark Depths with a few different combo pieces. So there's 4 Vampire Hexmage, which you can sacrifice to put a 20/20 into play. And if you've got 4 mana available and a Thespian Stage, you can also put a 20/20 in play that way. He's also got a few random crop rotation targets on board, including a Sajiri Step, which will give his Merit Large token protection from the spell of his choice. And he's also got Not of This World as well.
Also, an interesting one is the main board Bog. So has an interesting matchup versus certain decks that he probably shouldn't have a good matchup versus, simply because he can crop right into a Bajuka Bog and remove target players. Obviously, landfall. Is it a landfall trigger, or is it just when this land enters play?
It's a trigger. So when it comes into play,
just a straight trigger. Yeah. So when it enters play, target player's graveyard is exiled. So can catch some players off. I've seen Step, same deal. You've got your Death and Taxes player sitting there with their swords, and then suddenly Step, and they don't have an answer anymore.
Exactly. So we've just seen a Cabal Therapy fired off from Michael's side. I would guess he'd be looking to... I actually don't know what it'd be targeting.
Yeah, interesting. So neither deck representing an incredibly fast board or hand yet. Like both pretty fair, pretty slow. A little bit more interaction than I was expecting.
Yeah, so there's a 20/20, not a 20/20, there's just a Dark Depth on one side of the board.
The 20/20 in its embryonic state.
The one, but it looks like it's just land on Scott's side of the board, and
nice foil basic.
Michael is just trying to load up with some spells to use. He's got LED, Lotus Petal, a Past in Flames, and a Infernal Tutor in hand.
Which is nice. It's a nice hand. Looking at his deck,
it's very much by the numbers. He's got 2 Past in Flames, which is a little bit interesting, and that just gives you a little bit more resilience against some control decks who might be able to counter that spell. He's got a full 8 Rituals, 4 Cabal Therapy, 3 Duress, so 7 discards in total. And
just the 1 Ad Nauseam.
Just the 1 Ad Nauseam, which is fairly traditional.
Quite traditional. Can be a little bit risky, I guess, if you get caught out without it, like if it gets ripped or something like that, and you can get caught out, but not. I don't know. Like, there's not much in at least in this matchup that's going to be an issue. You're going to tutor for it. You're going to have it.
And now we're doing some counting just to work out if we can get to the critical mass of mana that we need to at this point. Unfortunately, the acceleration from Michael's hand is artifacts at the moment rather than the rituals, which means that he can't recur them off the Past in Flames that he's got in hand. But he is got about 5 spells I think he can cast at the moment, and he's just trying to make that decision. Obviously, it's a little bit complicated.
What is also interesting is the ability to not necessarily tendrils for lethal, but tendrils to put yourself out of range
of the 20/20.
Now, whether or not that's enough to win you the match in the long run, it is a line.
That is a line, but I believe there's only 1 tendrils in the main deck from what we saw before, and he does not want to get himself hit by that Bajuka Bog.
Of course.
He might not know that exists, so...
Of course not. I think you've mentioned it actually on stream before in some previous coverage that we've done about a particular build of Ad Nauseam tendrils that plays multiple tendrils.
That's right.
And just casts them for small amounts at a time.
So that one will run 3 to 4 different tendrils in its deck and just try to inch out advantage, and it plays a little bit better against grindy decks like Delver or even Death and Taxes being able to do that. It looks like Michael's preparing to go off, so he's letting everyone know what his Storm, Black Mana and Red Mana are going to be. Apparently Blue Mana's not going to feature today.
Apparently not. So Storm is 1. Storm is 2. So yeah, he's going to keep it nice and obvious for us, which is good.
Scott doesn't have any interaction at the moment, so he's just staring across the table and see what's happened. Michael Webb puts a Infernal Tutor on the board, and we'll see if he'll crack the LED in response.
So, quote from the table there is, I've done the math on this 3 times, and I'm not sure it's even right. So, this is Michael Webb going off when he feels he might not win, but if he does. I'm not sure. We'll see. We will find out. So, Scott a passenger at the moment, looking over the table, basically on the prey that Michael doesn't kill him here. Look, honestly, it's possible that he doesn't. I don't think there's any guarantee yet, but we will see. So at the time Michael started going off here, his hand was Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond,
LED, Past in Flames, and Infernal Tutor.
Okay.
So we've cast the LED and the Lotus Petal. We've currently Inferno Tutored and put the Past in Flames in the bin, and he's just gone to get a card, and we'll find out what that is in a few moments.
Sure.
I would expect the Past in Flames to be cast. It's probably actually going to be some form of ritual so that he can just get a little bit more ramp, and it looks like it's a Cabal ritual. So that's going to net him 5 extra mana, or 3 extra mana at the very least.
So yeah, I think Draco just pointing out that this is a fairly straightforward storm line. He's not doing anything particularly amazing here or special. He's just he's just storming. He's just doing the typical storm line.
Sean Brown has mentioned that there was the option as well of casting Infernal Tutor and revealing the LED to give a second one, to give him a little bit more value when he flashed it back for the Past in Flames.
Fair enough.
Well.
Yep. There we go. So there's some depth again. Experience. I mean, Michael's a very experienced Tendrils player, correct?
He's been playing it for over a year, and pretty much this is one of the only decks he does, so it's quite... he's quite experienced with the deck, and has quite a few wins under his belt.
Yep. So, still in the midst of going off here. Still under the effect of the Past in Flames. Just deciding what he's casting in what order.
Looks like he's just confirmed with Scott just some of the numbers that have come up here.
For sure.
So we've flashed back the Cabal Ritual for another extra 3 mana, and then we are also flashing back the Infernal Tutor as well.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's looking like he should have what he needs here to finish it off.
I would say that we're just going to get the Tendrils, use up any of the remaining black mana they might have, and finish that off. Yeah, it should be fine.
So, considering game 2 then, since we've got Michael's list in front of us now, is he looking to board in?
Hold up. So,
okay.
I miscounted. Michael didn't have enough mana, so we've gone and got an LED.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we short the mana. All right. So, he's gone and got lead.
And scooping it up.
And Scott's seen enough, I guess? That was a concession from Scott, correct? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, Scott's seen enough. Doesn't want to waste time here. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Michael had the Infernal Tutor, which would have got the Tendrils, which would have ended that match. So, that round. So through to round. Oh man, long day.
Game number 2
through
of
game
the top
2
8
of the top of the final. Man, it's been a long day. So again, Storm just went off. A board state was presented to the Storm deck. That potentially could have killed him next turn, and he responded by killing his opponent.
Yeah, which is
tends to happen a lot.
What the deck seemed to do.
Well, you want to take a look at? We'll take a look at the depths deck.
Sure, and just have a look at what the sideboard options are.
Yeah, so let's see. So in the board, you've got the Pithing Needle, the Corrosive Grip, Not of This World, 2 Sylvan Library, 3 Surgicals, 2 Toxic Delugers, a Caracas, a Sphere of Resistance, 2 Abrupt Decays, and a Mishra's Factory.
So the Sphere of Resistance is the first thing that sticks out as very good against the Storm deck. I would say the Surgicals are coming in just to try and remove the options that Michael have of going off.
Yep.
Pithing Needle doesn't hit anything, so it's not that good. Depending on what Scott feels like, he might bring in the Not of This World, and that just gives him the option against any bounce spells that Michael might bring in, like a Chain of Vapor or an Echoing Truth.
So preemptively defending against any sideboard choices that Michael might make. Looks like he's pulled out maybe 5 cards there. Considering his board here.
Yeah.
So let's see. What does he do? Is he actually pondering the Crossing Grip there?
Looks like he's thinking about it. It can, if you cast it on Lion's Eye Diamond in response to another spell, it means that they can't crack it due to the timing restrictions on it. So it's a little bit weird. LED, as some people might know.
Yep. We might
you can definitely see the surgicals there as well.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at Michael's sideboard, I guess, as well, and see what he might have brought in here.
So the second Tendrils doesn't seem like it would be the worst, considering some of the things that we've seen from Scott.
Yep.
The Echoing Truths definitely come in because that's going to bounce that, and
not a lot else, really.
No, like the Flusterstorm might be a consideration, but it's not really the type of deck you want to be bringing that in again.
Do you consider Hercules here to maybe just take him off some mana, or bounce a map, bounce the diamonds, not the diamonds, sorry, the
Lotus Petals.
Yeah, the Lotus Petals.
Just the Lotus Petals, and I don't think it's doing that much.
Oh, because he's not playing Mox Diamonds, is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah, so he's not playing the Mox Diamond list, so of course doesn't do too much there.
That's a consideration of putting in the empty, the Warrens just as an alternate win condition, but I don't think it does that much either.
Yep.
So once again, just Tendrils of Agony and Echoing Truth, I think, is where you want to be here.
Steve pointing out that these athletes are among the best pre-shufflers in the multiverse.
Pile shufflers, even.
Pile shufflers, rather. As pointed out, according to the Magic rules, pile shuffling is not shuffling. It is sorting.
And should only be done once a match.
Yes. We're not going to be too strict on it, given this is the untimed final. They did shuffle afterwards, so nothing untoward's going on here. Scott on the play. Urbog into a Petal into a Vampire Hexmage. Does he have the depths in hand?
He doesn't. He has a Surgical Extraction, some land, and I believe an Elvish Spirit Guide.
Okay.
And
if he draws the depths, he's in a pretty good spot.
If he draws the depths, he's set.
Yeah, he's in a pretty good spot. Has the Surgical, something to sit on, and obviously the Elvish Spirit Guide there. Not helping him with too much at the moment.
Okay, and Michael has fetched out an Underground Sea and is starting off on one of his cards.
Yep.
Chooses Duress. He's got a Cabal Therapy to back this up in hand, and there is also a Lotus Petal, a Ponder, and an Infernal Tutor in there.
I do believe, I believe you're right, Doug. I feel he would have brought in both of the Echoing Truths. Despite the fact that obviously the Turbo Depths will have answers to it, both mainboard and sideboard, I think it's very much incorrect to not bring in your most simple answer to the primary win condition of your opponent's deck. Interesting to point out. Look, we're aware slow play is a thing. Neither of these players are slow playing. Neither of these players are stalling. We've got our level 2 judge sitting basically next to the table here. If it is felt that one player is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, it will be called. But nothing to fear here.
And Scott has gone for a Surgical on the Scalding Tarn, so apparently trying to cut off some of the filtering options that Michael would otherwise have with Brainstorm, Fetch Land, so forth.
No point really sitting on the... he could get greedy and try and sit on the Surgical for a bit longer and try and get something with a bit more value, but hitting the fetch here seems perfectly fine.
Sure.
So that was in response to the Duress. So Michael cast Duress, targeting Scott.
So there's a Verdant Catacombs, a Swamp, and an Elvish Spirit Guide. So Michael whiffs on that, and on his side of the table, he's got double Cabal Therapy, Tendrils, Infernal Tutor, Ponder, and Lotus Petal. So I think he's about a ritual away from being able to go off there.
Yes, yeah. So Scott's hand force there. He would have lost the Surgical regardless, so might as well hit what he could. Someone commenting on the duress art. Yeah, that's the weird bat.
But it is foil, I believe.
Yeah,
might be the
fancy.
reason that one's getting put in there.
Fancy. So, yeah, looking at the hands, you're right. I think Michael's in a pretty good spot here to maybe go off. I mean, Scott's not in the worst spot either. I mean, Scott has some live draws.
He has live draws, but at the moment his hand just isn't doing anything until he draws the relevant card off the top, which is apparently that one.
So that's a Thespian stage he just drew.
It is. He doesn't have the Dark Depths yet, but he's now got two different versions of comboing off.
He has some redundancy. Yeah, so he definitely has some redundancy going. Now Michael fires off the Ponder. I think he sees a Preordain and two other cards I can't recognise.
There's a Lotus Petal, Cabal Ritual, and a Lotus Petal.
Oh, sorry. Not a Preordain.
Looks like he takes the Cabal Ritual there.
Yep.
And just considering his options once again.
Yep. No, so it was a Preordain.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. So took the Preordain. Leaves the other two on top. Question from Doug.
Is the Dark Death player playing Grim Discovery? I don't believe I saw it in the list.
I don't think so either.
We might be able to get it up.
Yeah, we'll take a look at his list. So no, yeah. So no, he's not playing it. List pretty standard, I think.
Yeah, and we've just found a expedition map.
So there's a map.
Immediately cracks it off Urborg and a...
Okay.
To go get the token, and he can immediately go and do that off the Vampire Hexmage as well.
So was that in... So that's in his main phase, correct? He did,
in his main
that was
phase,
his main phase because he had to play the map. So now Michael has a turn.
That's right, and he can either try and combo off, which is entirely possible, or possibly he can...
Look for an answer.
Yeah, look for an answer, try and find that Echoing Truth he's got in there somewhere.
Look, what do you... Obviously, he gets to see one more card, but we know what that is, right? So it was the pedal. Do you go off here? You just go to town?
I think you dig for the answer first, see what you can find, and then depending on what you find, you might have to just try and go off. Which,
because it's definitely not the most opportune time for Michael to be going off here. He would like to have a slot, maybe another card or so in hand.
He'd like to just have some extra mana sources, which he didn't get, and he's just been stuck on one land for a while as well.
So fires off the Git Probe, really doesn't care what's in his opponent's hand, just wants to draw some more cards, maybe see an answer. So looking at a Swamp and I think a Verdant Catacombs in Scott's hand there. Yeah.
So not a lot on that side, but he just Lotus Petal, Brainstorm, and just digging some more to try and see if he can find any answers.
So might as well start counting the Storm now, because it's approaching the point where I think he's forced to attempt to win through Storm. So Storm is currently at 4.
Yeah, so we've seen a Swamp, a Lotus Petal, and a Echoing Truth there, so we can just bounce the end of turn token now, which means he might decide to take his time a little bit longer with his lines on whether he wants to combo straight away. You can't storm at instant speed, Dukes, because Tendrils isn't...
it's a sorcery. And Draco, I do believe he did, because I think he was at that... when he cast that, he was looking for, more specifically, I think, an answer to the Dark Depths token, and not specifically looking to win via storming off. Are we missing something? If I believe it wasn't. I believe it was that was the card he put to the bottom, the Cabal Ritual. So is there a line he just wins with the Cabal Ritual in hand?
There might be. I haven't seen an LED, so you might just have to Ritual and cast it manually. Yeah. But looks like he's counting up and.
So he didn't have Threshold at the time. So maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't claim to be a particular. I having never actually played Storm myself. I understand the workings of the deck, but definitely do not understand it much beyond that point.
So we've gone for the end of turn Vampire Hexmage into the Dark Depths token, and Michael's holding up his Echoing Truth off a Swamp and Lotus Petal.
So there's the Echoing Truth.
Immediately see it.
Yep. And Scott's going to be unhappy to see, puts it to his hand. Not happy about that, unfortunately.
And then that was in his upkeep, and he drew a third land, so he can't be happy about that.
No, so he's got 3 lands in play, 2 in hand. Michael, knowing his opponent had... He currently knows about the swamp and now knows about the forest. Michael has basically a few turns if he wants to take them.
And I would say...
I think he just waits, right? Like he can be safe here. He's got no
so
rush.
it looks like he just activated the Thespian stage. I'm not sure what that would be targeting.
Just copying the C, right? Like, might as well.
Give yourself a few more options.
Yep. And there's a map. Map's going to go get...
Second Dark Depths. Gets to play it for the Thespian stage. So Michael, once again...
Go again. This time, however, Michael does have another turn, though. Obviously, because that was during Scott's main phase, so Scott still has to... No? Michael just said go?
That was end of turn, apparently.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Not quite sure exactly where all that took place in the turn sequence, but nonetheless, Scott getting to untap with a Thespian Sage and a Dark Depth in play. Plays another land. Drew? Is that a... No, that's another... Wait. What is that card in his hand? Is that a Knot of this World?
That is a Sylvan Scrying.
Sylvan Scrying, sorry. So, yeah, look, Michael's hand still not...
We've got Ritual,
Ritual,
Therapy,
Tendrils...
Brainstorm.
Is it two rituals?
Just one Ritual, I believe.
Okay.
And we've just hit a Dark Ritual. I think that's enough to be able to go off here. Michael just sorting through to make 100% certain. And apparently there is a judge question on Twitch as to whether that forest is a marked card because of how bent it is.
Yeah.
And our level 3 judge, Fry, thinks that he loves witch hunts.
Thanks, Fry. So, anyway, back to the match. Michael looking at cards in his hand, doing some counting here.
We've got a probe, which means he gets one of those cards back to his hand as well later on. It looks like he can cast everything as well based on what he's got. So that Infernal Tutor is going to be able to, at least the second one, after he's found a duplicate, is going to be able to go and get something to win with.
Yeah, so actually Doug pointing out that he could scry for Bog here. Or he could have scried for Bog in his previous turn, but chose to pass instead. Represent. Actually, he would have had enough mana, correct?
That's right. So he could Sylvan Scrying to find another land, but I believe he's wanting to hold up the Thespian stage, rather than trying to stop Michael from doing his thing at the moment.
But you kind of are just at the mercy of the Ad Nauseam Tendrils deck at that point, because you kind of just have to hope they don't win, basically.
That's right. And so Infernal Tutor is being cast, and he's revealing probably...
No, yeah, and pointed out that he actually did play a land for that turn as well, so the mana he would have had wouldn't have been enough.
So he's revealing Gitaxian Probe to his Infernal Tutor, just giving him some extra cards, and at the same time it's going to give him just extra Storm count for no mana, which is always good as well.
Yep, so again, we're back on we're watching from the perspective of the Ad Nauseam Tendrils player here, seeing what he can do. Sorry, am I missing something? Am I mispronouncing Doug's name?
It's Dougal.
There's no L there.
I know.
I'm sorry, what?
It's Doug, which is short for Dougal.
All right, sure, okay. Anyway, sorry, just reading Twitch chat there. So
we do the two probes. We sees that Scott has no interactions, so this is pretty much play out the rest of his hand and win from there.
Yep. Yeah, it seems to be the way. There's the yep. Yeah, it looks pretty safe here, I guess. What's the Storm at? Storm's at currently...
Storm's at 6 based on the dice that Michael's got out at the moment.
Was he considering just firing off the tendrils?
So his second Git Probe drew the Past in Flames, which means because he doesn't have a red source in play at the moment, he can't actually empty his hand to be able to fire off the second Infernal Tutor that he has. So he's going to tendrils for a smaller amount.
Which means the tendrils for 6 puts him Oh, not... yes, it does. Sorry, apologies. Of course. Puts him out of range of the first swing of the Marit Lage. So, potentially just wins next turn by a very small tendrils. Tendrils for 2.
That's right. So, at the moment, the Marit Lage token, which is now in play, no longer deals lethal damage.
Yep.
So, once again, we've got another turn, but Michael really needs to see some red mana in order to finalise this.
Yeah, so, great spot here, actually, for Michael. Again, demonstrating knowledge of the deck and knowledge of the matchup. Just, yep, so he's down to 3, and now, assuming Scott... What can Scott do here to not be dead?
Can do the play that we were discussing for most of last term, which is Sylvan Scrying and go get Bojuka Bog.
Yep.
He's also got a crop rotation to do exactly the same thing.
Of course.
So if Michael goes for the Past in Flames line that he's now got in hand, then he's going to have a very bad day.
Yeah, of course, but doesn't Michael already have the second tendrils in his hand?
I don't believe I saw one.
I thought I saw 2 tendrils, so it's possible that he just doesn't even need to really worry about anything just by casting them. I could be wrong. But if he does have the second tendrils in hand, it's a matter of casting one spell, then the tendrils, and then winning, correct?
Well, and getting 4 mana at the same time.
Oh, and the mana, of course. Yeah, apologies. Yes, only 2 in play at the moment. So Scott looks like he's about to cast a crop rot.
Going to cast the Sylvan Scrying
Sylvan
because
Scrying.
crop rotation is instant speed, and you want to keep that up on your opponent's turn.
You do. So he still has the crop rot up as well.
He does, and he's looks like he's brought that Bojuka Bog right to the front. He's
I think it's
on that plan
the
as
target.
well.
That's the target, which is good. So at this point, Scott on the don't die, win next turn plan. Also, the hope your opponent doesn't.
And he just immediately scoops up to that Bojuka Bog.
Yep. Michael realizing he's got no play to that, and we go to the next one.
So awesome that's going to be game 3.
Awesome, we get a game 3. Surprisingly, much more interactive than I was expecting.
Yeah, so both the combos are trying to do those things, but both the decks have a way to deal with each other as well.
Yep, so as our producer just points out in the chat, the counting happens again. I think we can hear some laughing coming from the table. Yeah, I think he's intentionally doing it at this point. So, yep, going to game 3. What I thought would have been a relatively uninteractive matchup has been quite impressive to watch. Don't believe the boards are going to change too much.
No, there's nothing that I think either of them bought in which was...
Yeah, going to do too much. Chat, trigger warning, pile counting. It's great. So apparently someone's got Fry's eyes twitching.
There doesn't appear to have been anything that either the players bought out of the board, so we're just going to be running back that same matchup again.
Yep. Fry, take it up with. You got to take it up with Jimbo, man. He's the power in the room.
The table judge would call them.
All right. So going into game 3, Michael on the play, which is a good spot to be, I guess, for the Storm player. So apparently Webb has 4 different copies, 4 different arts of...
No, he's not.
No? I
don't believe so, but...
It could be. I thought I saw 2 of the same, but blindly listening to chat, I guess, is a dangerous thing. So, looks like Scott's drawn his... broken a sleeve, apparently. Michael was presented.
Yep, and so now we just wait for the Combo Fest to start again.
Yep, and it wasn't that combo-esque. There was a lot of interaction there.
There definitely was from both sides. There was Michael tried to combo off and didn't quite get there. Insufficient mana, and Scott comboed off twice.
Yep,
only one of them worked.
Yeah, but like. Something that you don't see that often is, so the Turbo Depths managed to combo off twice, which is not that uncommon in the deck, but it took 2 swings from the Marit Lage to actually win the game, which was enabled by the fact that it had the Bojuka Bog, the main board Bog, which bought him the 1 turn he needed to get the second swing in, which was quite, again, heads up play, well played, it was good.
Yeah, so to Duke's general games is in Caulfield, so it's about 20 minutes out of the CBD. They do Sanctioned Legacy usually once a month.
Yeah, so we're looking to be bumping that up possibly to twice a month very soon. We don't stream as often as we would like to, simply given the limitation of the Australian internet in particular areas. We're stuck on very slow speed here, so when we do stream, it's a little bit of a commitment in terms of data and such. So we'll be planning on doing it a lot more in the future. But we do put regular content up on our YouTube channel for Legacy, Highlander, Australian Highlander, some standard stuff as well. So we try to do as much coverage. We've got a permanent coverage set up going. So we put it up quite regularly and as often as we can. So if you subscribe to us on Facebook, on YouTube, you'll be able to catch all the content. Plus, you'll be able to see there's already quite a few videos up there of past events and tournaments.
And so both the players have started off. Michael leads on a Underground Sea and Scott on a Urborg into Duress. And Michael is once again playing back the Brainstorm to hide some cards from Scott's Duress.
Yep, once again, this is a flashback to Game 1. Yeah, the NBN, definitely we want NBN. Currently not available in our area, but apparently that will be changing sometime this year. So apparently 8 months is the time frame we've been given as to when we can get faster internet. And one thing that is for certain is once we do get faster internet, there should be, at a bare minimum, we will have a regular once a week stream and possibly more. We have some Australian Highlander content up on the Facebook. Wow, this is a long day. On the YouTube, on the YouTube currently. There was a recent event.
You can get to see more of my lovely beards this time on camera playing Red Deck if you look through the YouTube history.
The big tomato, as I like to call it. How did you do in the last Highlander?
Last Highlander I actually managed to win. So
that's right. Of course you did. You won it. Yep. You stomped your way to victory with red cards.
That's the one.
So we're hanging out for the NBN, as PJ just pointed out. As soon as it's available, we'll be getting it. Because currently, for us to stream, we're actually streaming on mobile data, which anyone who knows anything about that is expensive. So it's the only way we can get a fast enough internet connection.
So we've got a Git Probe, sees 2 land and a Vampire Hexmage.
Yep.
Don't know whether he's got the Cabal Therapy to back that up. And we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, so
Michael does, it looks like, actually bring in the Flusterstorm, and whoever said that in chat before, there are different Dark Rituals. And yes, I'm not sure who you are, Panyam, but it is the same red deck.
It is fun to watch. So, yeah. So apparently, our producer is pointing out the different arts make harder surgical targets. Apparently, because I do believe. So that is a quote directly from Michael. Actually, hoping your opponent misses one, I guess.
Okay, so he's got a couple of different options here. We've got LED, Fluster. So there's 2 cards left in Michael's hand, Flusterstorm, and I didn't catch the other one, and he's played out the mana onto the table to try and play around any surgical effects that might be trying to affect it, and that just means that, as I said, they can't get surgical.
Yep, so Michael is currently Hellbent, I believe. He has no cards in hand.
Oh, he's got 2 cards in hand. They're sitting on the top of the table, top of the video.
Oh, of course.
Scott plays out a Dark Depths, which he's managed to just draw.
Yep, so we see a Brainstorm, a Flusterstorm, and I believe a Ritual.
And a Dark Ritual.
Yep. In Michael's hand.
And he draws a couple of different land and a Ponder, so
that's not
probably
too bad.
Just going to continue digging.
Yep. So you can play out the land. I see he drew a fetch land as well, which he's able to put away the cards he does not want to see. On Scott's side, has the depths in play. Should have 10 counters on it, not 12, but not particularly relevant. No, we're going to fix it anyway. I don't believe the Turbo Depths... have you ever seen a Turbo Depths do it the fair way?
it did actually happen in Game 2 as the semi-finals. It got a Pithing Needle on Dark Depths, and the Vampire Hexmage got Surgical, so he ticked it down the long way.
Oh, so it wasn't so turbo. It was just depths.
That's the one.
So play still on Michael here, digging for some cards. So Scott's hand got the Hexmage in play, the Urbog and Hexmage. So he's presenting lethal the turn after his next turn at a bare minimum. I'm not sure what else he's got. I think like 2 lands, and I don't know what the 4th card is. But Michael doing some counting. He's got to feel a little under pressure here.
Yeah, well, he did see his hands a couple of turns ago, so he it's very unlikely that it doesn't look like... It's very unlikely that he's drawn both the combo pieces, but it looks like he's going to start going for it regardless. So he casts Dark Ritual, Infernal Tutor, and cracks the LED to get another piece. And most likely he's going to get a Past in Flames, I guess, to flash that graveyard back.
Hashtag free misstep. Oh, I love it. So
I would greatly appreciate it if that never happens ever again.
Yeah, that was dark days. So Michael, wow, that happened quick. So Storm's at, is it Storm at 5 and mana at 4?
Storm is at 5, so he's cast the LED, Dark Ritual, Infernal Tutor, and goes to cast the Past in Flames.
Storm at
Scott
6.
does not have any green mana at the moment, so he can't do any shenanigans with the Bajika Bog again, but hopefully he doesn't have any Surgicals, which I don't believe he does.
No, I don't believe he does. He has a Swamp, a Vampire Hexmage, another land?
Forest, I believe.
A forest, yeah. So it's a Swamp, a forest, and a Vampire Hexmage. So Michael...
Just building up the mana now.
Looks like he's got a pretty straightforward line of victory here, actually.
That's right, and Scott doesn't even want to wait till the end, just scoops him up immediately.
Scoops him up, and there we have it. It was a best of 3. Michael Webb takes it out.
And congratulations to him. The winner obviously goes to Tropical Island.
He wins a unlimited Tropical Island. That's why we all came. Congratulations. Not a small prize.
Not at all.
Great. Honestly, great match.
Fantastic.
Really happy to see a lot of interaction in a deck between 2 decks that I actually thought would be quite non-interactive, very just linear. Game 3, not so much.
No, but they both took a few glances at each other's hands with the discard once again.
Yeah, of course. And then the Storm just did the Storm thing. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. Please chuck us a like on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitch.
We'll have to see you next time that we do this.
We'll have a lot more content coming out, and tune in again next time. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much. Hi, welcome back to the General Games Legacy. We've just finished today, and this is Michael Webb, who won. Congratulations.
Thank you, Graham. That's
And what we've got for you is an unlimited Tropical Island, so another one to add to your collection.
fantastic. Thank you.
So what was your route to victory? What did you play during the finals? Or, well, during the day, I should say.
So Ad Nauseam Tendril Storm. I've been playing it for quite a while. It's a hell of a fun deck to play. I think somebody called it Yu-Gi-Oh earlier on stream, which I'm a bit dirty about.
That's right. And what was your hardest matchup that you faced today?
Oh, let me have a think from the beginning. So,
Or just run us through your matches if you like.
So I played Miracles to begin with.
Yeah. And so that's a new version which doesn't run counterbalance, is that right?
The new topless counterbalanceless Miracles, and
that sounds like it'll be a little bit easier than it used to be.
Yeah, they post-board, they have a absolutely ridiculous amount of hate bears, so they love running Meddling Mage and Ethersworn Canonist. Unfortunately, I managed to beat the Canonist on Tendrils.
That's good.
Which helped a lot.
Yep, and any other matches?
Look, I had a great fun matchup against Thomas Salido playing Sneak and Show. He's always a pleasure to play against. it's probably not the most interesting match to watch. It was Sneak and Show versus Storm, which is, look, it's exciting.
Okay. And I heard you had some interesting games against Justin Ventura as well.
Oh, yeah. So Red-Black, I normally feel is a really horrible matchup. And interestingly enough, I guess I killed him on my second turn and then my first turn. So it was pretty exciting for him.
That I can imagine that would be. Was there any interesting plays that you made which were out of the norm or that you thought were exciting at all?
I guess two. One, I kept a pretty loose hand a bit earlier today, and I just thought it was going to be a bit of fun if I could get it to work out. And it was triple Cabal Ritual, Fetch Land, Lotus Petal, 2 Infernal Tutors.
Okay,
and
so
I managed
all the mana and just run it back?
Yeah, well, I needed a little bit more mana to get started because you've got to do something with your tutors. So I just kind of, I drew a second Fetch Land and a 4th Cabal Ritual and just played my lands, Cabal Ritualed, grabbed another Petal, just kept running out all my rituals and then my last tutor. And yeah, it was fun for me.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'm glad that you won, and congratulations on that once again, and hope you had a good time.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks.
Fantastic. Once again to everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.